AI, by the way.
Yes,
And
actually, that was a question I was going to ask you.
uh-huh. We had this concept way back when machine learning was a thing. Is
I remember
what
it
if the
fondly. Yes, machine.
you guys you guys have watched Star Trek Next Generation, right? You know,
Yes, of
with Captain Picard.
Yeah.
course.
Data, the character Data.
Yeah.
I always said we need a Data in our chat rooms. We need natural human bots that just talk to us and say, I think you're talking about this. Can I help you with that? Can I
Oh,
look this up for you? Can I be your go-getter guy?
Right.
And I think we're there yet. Because the AIs have rolled in. We have multiple different models working on information to provide into this chats. One of the things that was kind of interesting, and this is kind of a little story. I was talking to a gal that runs a company that does a virtual AI assisted concierge service called Guest OS. And the idea was you call in, you talk to this very natural sounding AI that says, can I help you with anything the hotel could provide for you? And blah, blah, blah. And that's how it does it. And it's based on information you feed into the model. So we had this conversation. I said, you could use that for disasters. You can have people call up and say, can you tell me if this
Oh,
bridge is
sure.
out? Is my neighborhood evacuated? When is the curfew going to be lifted? Where do I go for my animal shelter? I've got horses. Where do... So 211 is a one-way out broadcast phone call in most districts, okay, in
hmm
LA, for example. 911 is a human, but man, that person is way overloaded and they're there for emergencies. So you have hotlines. Red Cross has a hotline, and they can only know so much. As an operator on the phone, you just know only so much. If you put AI behind it and you fed that with tons of documentation and databases of disaster information, what could it do? So they turned that loose. We had that conversation on January the 2nd, I think it was, and the 7th of January, we had the LA fire. So
Mm.
we put it into immediate use. So she was using it for people helping to find housing and hundreds of calls and that psychological, oh my gosh, I was just talking to a person. So I've adapted it into 8 Arena helpline or hotline, excuse me. And we're going to feed it information about the disasters as they happen because we want the person with a flip phone to call up and say, I don't do chat. I'm not going to do chat. I just need to know where can I take my horses? I have a ranch. I've got cattle. We've got no hay. It's all been burned up. Where can I get some hay? And have that human on the phone talk with information that's known, as well as, hold on, let me find an expert for you. And it sends a message into our chats. And the experts say, oh, yeah, we got the answer for you right here. Hit go. And it goes right back into their ear while they're standing in the middle of their field.
Mm.
We think that's going to be one of those humanity connectors.
Mm.
I don't want to serve just the people who are the professionals at this. I want to serve the everybody. And in many parts of the world, data is not necessarily always available. A Slack app, a chat app, maybe not, but a phone, yeah.
hmm
And
Absolutely.
a
Yeah.
hum and a nice sounding human voice when you're having a crappy morning with your kids and your house is burned. You just need somebody to
That's a
guide
pretty
you.
crappy morning when your house is burned.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's who was calling. And
Yeah.
it's either that or nothing, so let them call to something. And if the AI can't answer the question, it gets put into a queue and then somebody works on it. And so we have lots of technologists who are chewing on ideas like that, bringing in
Mm.
AI, bringing in science, the big nature, big data people, cloud people.
Well, do you
They
think
do
So this
that.
the
one was
AI, do you think the AI can be the facilitators? Do you think the AI
facilitators
can
for
replace human facilitators?
no, especially you tell my colleague Jim Hole, he'll tell you absolutely no. I personally don't think so yet because I have a feeling that there's still a deep, rich intuition that comes with that watching human language thing. It can certainly help me though if I needed to find out quickly. Tell me just based on the reviewing the chats in this
Hmm.
space for the last 6 months, who would probably be the expert on this topic,
Right.
hmm
just based on their language. And it tells you, I can tell you that these are the probably the top 3 people who can speak to horses and shelters. Okay, good, good. I'll just get a lead. That's it. But yeah, for sure, help me. But to facilitate, I think they want to know that they're talking to a human, but also I think intuition
That's
is a big
true.
one.
Kind of the,
I
yeah.
think you've got to be clear that you're talking, whether you're talking to a human or an AI. And
Right.
if you're talking to an AI and it's doing like first line responding, you want to, this is exciting to me because I would love to be involved in making this more compassionate, but you want to make sure its first job is to respond compassionately. If
Yes.
you're just right, and then that's almost as important as getting correct information, and
Yeah.
maybe it's more important, right?
That's probably the single biggest thing for a helpline that's a human answerer. They're trained in the
Mhm.
first 10 seconds
Mm.
of tell me what's going on.
Yeah. And so if it could say, like, I'm an AI that's been trained to respond in emergencies, I might not do a good job, but let's see what we can do, or something like that.
See, perfect. I'm gonna write that down.
Yeah. No, we
And
should talk
you
about
can
this
train
because
her.
this
Yeah.
is this is key, is how is it framed? How is the AI framed? And it's if it's framed as sort of like a student who's learning to do this,
Yeah.
people are much more willing to talk with it than if
Yeah.
if
So
it's like, I'm
we're
the
gonna be the
expert,
guinea
I'm going to
pig.
help you. Yeah.
That's right. We're going to be the guinea pig for this in disasters to learn those lessons of how to do it right, safely,
Mm,
accurately. Bad
mm,
information is bad information, but also psychologically, when we say it's a hotline, how to frame it correctly, because we're the first to adapt this kind of technology into a disaster.
yeah.
Going forward, we want to be let's say a prototyper of methodologies to make sure that it's perceived correctly by the average person with a flip phone. You shouldn't have
Yes,
to have any more knowledge.
that's
Right.
right.
And that way it can be a helper of ultimately to get them resources and get them people to help them.
Right.
I also want the professionals using it. Like if you're in the Red Cross and you're forward and you're just on your phone, you basically say, okay, yeah, there's a bridge out. Here's the location. I'm seeing 4 houses along the street that are burned as well. Report complete. And it
Hmm.
goes into the system to a database.
Right.